That's my dramatic entrance. That's it. It's my whole dramatic entrance. All right. Hello, everybody. I hope you had a fantastic Easter. All right. Come on, Chris. Get serious. How's everybody doing today? Hey. I had a good weekend. I took a little bit of time. Sometimes I need to take some time. If that's overly confronting to you, that's who I mean. Anyways, yeah. Had a good weekend. Got a bunch of stuff done, but in the course of getting a bunch of stuff done, I got a bunch of stuff done. We got our gardening all started. Oh heavens, you know how that begins. You go and get a bunch of dirt. All right, so I did some pages. That's all I have to say about gardening, by the way. You get some dirt, and it begins. All right, today's page is ridiculous. Today's page is based on a 3-word prompt. Dee Dee Willingham has on her YouTube station a thing where she grabs 3 words written on 3 little pieces of paper out of a big bag full of lots of little pieces of paper. And that's it. That's what you got. The previous page I did of this was Kangaroo Pyramid Airplane. And that's the one where the Australian Ruma tries to overcome a thief on an airplane that is trying to steal the pyramid diamond. Very dramatic. Today's is Seagull, Devil, Coral. Yep. So, yeah, you know I had to have fun with that. I get sometimes devil suggestions come up a lot. Draw a devil. And that's fine. But I always find that, what's worse than devils? People. Welcome to the pleasure done. Typo. Autocorrect Siri. Hi, Jim. Welcome aboard. Welcome to the pleasure done is how we're going to greet from now on. That's the way for everybody to greet. So Seagull, Devil, Coral is basically the whole reason that seagulls do their business on people and things is because little devils are on their backs telling them to do it. And I hope that when you read the devil parts, you read it in a squeaky little, oh yeah, here we go, let's get to work. A little squeaky little voice like that, because it's much more funny and enjoyable. Okay, so I've been posting a bunch of pages and not talking to you about them. So let's look at the past couple of days. Yesterday was Distracted By. This is a suggestion from Rachel and Rachel Fleming, and it is a friend with ADHD contacts you and tells you this elaborate thing only to say, never mind. And so I just happened to use a bunny to represent that. That's going up. You dang devil drawn demon doodler. Nicely done. That's good. You dang devil drawn demon doodler. That's all how you say it. That's awesome. I love alliteration, folks. So this page is just drawn in my sketchbook. I just doodled bits in my sketchbook. Good day, Philip. And it's just little squiggly diddles with red pen, blue pen, and paint pen. That's it. And then just assembled onto the page. Whereas, whoops, let me go back. Today's page of the coral is just drawn straight on to a piece of paper. One shot. Lately I've been doing a lot of this assembly of pages. This is just drawn. Actually, I drew it in an hour and a half. Not to say it like a big jerk, but to say it like it just flowed out of me. Sometimes that happens when you get inspired and whack, there it goes, right? So that's where that page came from. The finished thing was far, far prettier. And yeah, I really enjoyed doing Seagull, Devil, Coral, and technically Car, because it was added in on me. Anyways, I was forced to do it. So yesterday's was the Distracted By. Never mind. And day before that was Bad Luck Bill. Oh, look, we got all kinds of people here. Hi, everybody. GTD. That's a good name for her. Hi, Dee Dee. Hi, Rachel. We got Rachel here. We got Dee Dee here. We got Philip here. Where'd Philip go? Good day, sir. Good day, sir. And yeah, so we're just going through the last couple of days of pages. Bad Luck Bill, just drawn straight on paper. And then all the color, all the effects stuff that was all added in digitally. A lot of fun doing this one. That was posted for Sunday. Saturday's page was Who Is He That Comes From Who Knows Where? Uh-oh. Hi, Janet. I want to miss you there. All right. Yeah, this is another fun one. It's all the digital effects and coloring were done Photoshop, but the drawing is just straight on paper and inked straight on the paper. So this is a fun one. This is where I learned how to do color holds. And color holds is where you can change your black line content into an alternate color. And so I converted the entire thing into a brown as opposed to a black to diffuse the imagery and sort of make it a little more cartoony. I'm learning. I'm getting me some education on all this here pretty picture making. And this is Thursday's page of Yours Is But One of Them with all the alternate Earths. And this is where it was, hey, Raul, muck my board. Sorry if I'm missing anybody, by the way. This is where I drew a whole bunch of little worlds and you know, a wacky waving arms inflatable tube man on a piece of paper. This is fun. So yeah, so that's the last couple of days of pages since we had time together last. And but this was fun. Seagull was fun. And again, I've learned a couple things. So if you take the second brush, the second soft brush in your Photoshop palette, and you go into that and you turn down the sharpness of it. Let me explain. If you go into that, you set it to dissolve in the mode area. Okay. Then it becomes like a pencil crayon. And so all of the coloring that you see here that sort of has this granular effect, that's how I do it. That's how I do it. I fell short. Cheese is no cracker. I'm all about the cheese. Still here for a bit, but I can't stay for long. Well, we appreciate every moment that you're here, Philip. That's very nice of you. Okay, so I hope everybody had a productive holiday-ish weekend, depending on who you are and where you're at. And, you know, had some good times. Good times in the sun. I got some more Posca pins. Dun, dun, dun. So I've got a bunch of suggestions still outstanding that I'm trying to catch up on. Raul is asking, are these out of the prompts bag of Dee Dee's? Yes, this is the 3 prompts were seagull, devil, coral, and then I think it was Rachel or Janet that suggested I should have the seagull pooping on a car. I kind of got there. It was gonna, or maybe it never was. Free will, right? So yeah, so my whole explanation behind why seagulls poop on things is because they got little devils on their back. The cars, see the cars? Come on, head over there. You know, I love it. I love that sort of silly stuff. The 3 prompts is a lot of fun, and the prompts afford you a real opportunity. Janet says, I would never suggest such a thing. The 3 prompts is a really cool thing. And it forces you to confront the discordant ideas, right? The things that might you just out of turn. Whether or not you look at that from a literal sense, you know, in this case, seagull, devil, coral, you could have a seagull sitting on some coral and it flies off the coral, poops in a car, and somebody says, you're devil. Like there's a million different things you could do. Apparently they all involve seagulls pooping on things. But it's all about what you do. It's all about how you allow yourself to pursue that. But if you can structure it into a narrative sense, what's the story about? Seagull, devil, coral. Just got to figure out how to incorporate those things along the way. The fact that I fit it in at the end to just say, we found him out by the coral reef. Well, I didn't want to draw a whole coral reef because I thought it made more impact if it was just a diver who's holding up the dead little devil. But, those are the things. Those are the explorations, right? Raul says, I also draw the prompts, beach, robin, lily pad, veggies, raincoat, car. That's a lot of prompts to do a piece with. That's a lot of prompts, especially if you're trying to do them in one image, right? But noble as a peach, going for 6. I like 3. 3 is really manageable because 3 gives you a sense of really tight structure. 6 is great too. It gives you far more options of what you can do in your narrative. But then it starts becoming, I got to make sure I get this one in. I got to make sure I get that one in. For me, it would. Anyways. Didi says, that's what's fun. You can do anything you want. That's exactly what's fun. Anybody that hasn't, Didi also thinks 3 is good. Anybody that hasn't tried the 3 prompts thing, please take a gander at Didi's stream Mondays and Wednesday mornings. And you could just say, Didi, I'll take 3. And she'll pull out the bag and pull 3 prompts out to you. Rachel says, in St. Catharines, the double ride on most seagulls right up from my car. That happens, right? Maybe just don't go to St. Catharines. Or if you are in St. Catharines, I don't know what to tell you. You put a big net above your car. Kind of a catch-all net. That's gross. That's really gross. Make sure to hose it off. I don't know. I got nothing for you. Yeah, this is a fun one. Raul says, I did it in my mini sketchbook, 3.5 inches square for 6 items. That's a lot of stuff. No coral so far. Yeah, those are their bombs. They just break off pieces of coral and drop sharp coral on your glass of your windows and scratch them up. I don't know if they'd be sharp enough to scratch up windows. So this is a lot of fun. But it also checks off a couple things on my list. I said that, let me switcheroo the old camera too. All right, so I said that I would do the Bela Lugosi that Rachel has suggested. I went with a phone call conversation ending in never mind from a repetitive friend with ADHD. There's the coral demon seagull. And I think, except for the Artcaster host, that finishes off this page, but I'm going to do the Artcaster host one. That I think is the only thing to carry over to our next page section. Oh, here we go. Facts. Depending on the seagull's diet, the excrement could be quite colorful. Am I wrong? I think I read that a little bit deeper than Janet would. You are not wrong. I definitely read that deeper. Oh, that's very nice, Euro. Hello all, says Frankly. For my first time, I heard him say Frankly Mapleton in describing himself, and it made me full of joy and glee, or as I call it, gloy. Okay, so we've got the Scratch and Sniff denominations of currency. Bela Lugosi singing Rock. Did this one. Existential Spy Agency. Sounds fun. And Mouse Holding came up. And 7 characters in a pit of fear. Well, I just did a fear page. So. And the Artcaster hosts meet their alternative dimension selves. Which I need to find pictures of the fellas there. What do we got? Frankly, got more stamps in the mail. Good stuff. Yep. Christopher, don't you love how we stick to our topics? Come on. How transitional am I that do I stick to it? So I tried last week. Let's be honest. I tried last week to have a theme for episodes. And I lasted 4 days. I lasted 4 days on sticking to a topic. 4 days, everybody. I appreciate, and I had a conversation with a good friend that also suggested that, hey, just go with it. That's what I needed. By the way, I'm starting a class action lawsuit against you because of the emotional damage we all experienced from you missing yesterday. Check your mail. I love getting mail. I really do. I never get mail. I'm like a little boy when mail comes in. Yeah, well, a giant little boy, but a little boy nonetheless. So thanks for sending me some mail. I might have taken the wrong piece of information out of that suggestion, though, Jim. Yeah, I think I focused on the wrong thing there. That's okay. Frankly says, oh, I should do that prompt. Alternative Artcasters host sounds fun. It does sound fun, doesn't it? But I'd have to have pictures of the guys handy, and I'm not going to look all that up. I'll set it up for tomorrow. Alternative Artcasters is tomorrow. Sound good? What day is it? Wednesday. Wednesday for that one. Dealio? Dealio. Yeah, please, frankly, look at the 3 prompts. Please contact Dee Dee during the show, and she'll just pull 3 out of a bag. Here he goes. Hey, Dee Dee. Excited to see your stream tomorrow. He's going to ask for prompts. I just know it. Squirrel. Somebody knows me too well there, Janet. It didn't take you very long to figure that out, did it? I like that Rachel calls you Sal Frank. Should do a wax seal stream. Yeah. Frank's having a lot of fun with that too. He is, frankly. Okay. Raul is studying Avery Major Painter. Oh my goodness, art books are lovely to go through. Lovely to go through. That's a great opportunity for you when you've got these art books in front of you. As you're flipping through pages, as soon as you see a composition that you find interesting, if you've got your sketch pad nearby with a pen or a pencil or whatever it is that you use, and you see a composition come through this book as you're looking at it, give it a quick scribble. And I mean a really rough, ugly scribble on paper. Just a little quick compositional analysis and move on. Keep looking through your book. And whenever you feel so inclined from that point forward, I always suggest just do the first one that catches you. But whenever you feel so inclined from that point forward for these other books, you'd be surprised what you pick up compositionally by doing that. Dee Dee, what a good idea. You have so much free time. Oh my goodness. Frank says that the Artcasters are burned into his subconscious. He knows every whisker on Josh's beard. I hope that you guys get all philosophic on that stream about wax. It's a bad joke. Yes, they are. Telephone and lobster. Made your own version of that. There you go. Okay, this stream just went sideways. Oh my goodness. I'm going to let everybody have a moment to read that themselves in their own voice. There we go. Okay, so we got a couple of things on the docket. Mouse holding. I don't know if anybody knows what mouse holding is. I thought that was an interesting one to come up. But this is an old one. Mouse holding is when soldiers in World War II used to be fighting in small, like city-to-city fights, and half the city would have German troops in it, and half the city would have, the Allied troops. And mouse holding is an American convention where they would blow holes through the walls inside the houses. In the row of houses, they blow a hole from one place to the next, so that rather than being in the streets where they get shot at, they go through the buildings. That's what mouse holding is. So I'm not sure how I do that as a page, but it's that's one that I looked up on a sheet of paper. So I find notes with old suggestions on them that I didn't write down someplace. Everyone was commenting on hot wax, so I played into it, and everyone left. Oh, no. I had to go because I had stuff to do. But, yeah, you definitely were playing into that hot wax syndrome. That was a lot of fun. Yep, that was a good stream. I didn't get to see the dragon stamp, and I was excited to see that one. So I had to watch your video later. All right, so I think that Scratch and Sniff denominations of currency or Existential Spy Agency, I think, is our 2 picks for today. Okay, dun. Oh, I'm sorry. Or The Matrix, but starring sloths. That's another one. So if anybody has any picks of Existential Spy Agency, Matrix with starring sloths, or Scratch and Sniff, that's the three things I'm going to pick from today. I like Do an I Spy like Mad Magazine. That's actually a fun idea. Okay, today's musical choices, if anybody's interested in looking them up. I started my day with They Might Be Giants. And then I now followed it up with some Toadies. So, yeah. What do we got? Sold that one for last. I saved it just for the stream. You have a Taraco stamp coming soon. Well. Can you hear my music? I better turn it down, because otherwise I'll take my thing down. But yeah, I'm listening to the Toadies. Okay, Spy versus Spy. Make the spy a sloth. Okay, slow down. I showed my sloth page. I had my grandson with me for my brief stream on Friday, and I had him read my sloth page. That was a lot of fun. And it was also, as I've been informed, ridiculous. That was just silly. Silly was really the word used. So, what is it? Spy versus Spy. I was going to pull up a Spy versus Spy page to remind myself how it broke down. And then I will actually just draw it like that. Well, not specifically that, but because they've done Mad TV had it on there for a while, and all the different animatics of it that have come out since, and animations. Okay, so it's just, yeah, I got it. Okay. Sloth versus sloth it is. It's, that's a fun idea. Well, hold on. I got to stick with the page. It's Existential Spy Agency. Jim wants a horse riding a bicycle, playing a guitar on top of a fourth dimension parallax. All right. I'll write it in the book. Careful what you ask for. The water. Horse riding bicycle. Should never have shown anybody I could draw a horse. Playing a guitar on top of fourth dimension parallax. Al Jaffe died yesterday, everybody. I don't know if anybody knows that or anybody remembers who Al Jaffe is, but speaking of Mad, Al Jaffe's the guy that came up with the folding covers on the back of Mad magazines. I don't know why I didn't just write it in the book. Sloth versus Sloth is going to get written down. I'll do Existential Sloth Spy Agency today, though. You know what? No, I'm just going to do Sloth versus Sloth. Yeah. Hey, it's Malcolm. Oh, hey, you just said the same thing. Yeah. 102 years old. 102 years old. It's Al Jaffe was definitely a legend. And then, frankly, saying the same thing I said to you. I probably said it after you typed it. God, who knows? Everyone wants Captain Goggles. Everybody wants one. Remember that song? Is that stuck in your head now? Anybody? Everybody wants one. No, everybody needs one. Yeah, that's sad. That he was the last of the regular bunch of idiots. A regular bunch of, whatever was it called? Anyway, big stewardess as well. Okay, so we're going to do an amalgamation here. Sloth versus sloth. I think that sounds like fun. I'm going to credit Reamer and Giddy for this one. Okay, so Al Jaffe dying is kind of sad news. Really, it's like sort of the end of an age, the end of an era. and that because of what that early period of Mad represented and the farcical approach that it had to everything, not having any of those fellas alive anymore sort of feels like it's a sort of a sense of finality towards a period of time, right? But Jim says, serious people my age are dead. Did he really say that? Good for him. That sounds about right. Sergio Aragonés, Al Jaffe, and Don Martin were the Mad Magazine Holy Trinity. Yeah, well, the second stage. The first stage was, I got to show you something. This is the original idiots of Mad Magazine. Al Jaffe joined them before he was the last of the ones to join. The Mad original idiots, humor in a jugular vein. Well, the three were Will Elder, Jack Davis, and Wally Wood. And so the earliest issues of Mad, the first few books, right? It was 1 to 23. And so all these books feature these individual creators and all these bits that they did in there. But that within that time period is when Al Jaffe had joined in with them. And then eventually came Martin, and eventually came, well, Aragonés was in there too. But yeah, I love that thing because the three of them are crazy. But look these names up. There's your names. There's your homework for today, folks. Jack Davis, Wally Wood, and Will Elder. I think it's Elder that did Super Duper Man. Yeah, Stupid Man, and the Batman, the Wonder Woman parodies. These were all hilarious. Wally Wood, if he could. That's indeedly true. One day, people will say Frank Salazar was a legend. His wax streams were off the hook. Well, I think so. Jimmy Jr. said, Wally Wood, if you could, you only know about the first issues of Mad. You were there. You were in the room. Well, that's the thing about Mad is that it's one of those things that's timeless, right? Whether it was the moment it was released or afterward. Those early books were in such heavy syndication, and this is before people put all this associative value into comics. Oh, you got to hold on to everything. Everything's precious, right? Well, this is before that, and so that sort of allowed you that. Harvey Kurtzman, you betcha. There's the man behind it all. Definitely. Yeah, it's just a lucky time period to be able to appreciate that sort of vein of humor, because then you get into Cracked and National Lampoon and all these sort of things that spun off from what was pre-established by Mad. So, all right, so we're gonna come at this in a different way. So this is I don't know if anybody else has ever tried this. This is a carpenter's trick. Is that when you're measuring your wood, that you're about to cut and stuff like that. If you just run your hand along the side, you're going to get square marks without having to draw your ruler out. Rachel says it was not lucky enough to be there, just old enough to remember. I like when somebody says, this is a really young person thing, is that when you express, yeah, I remember when that came out, and they're like, oh my God, you're so lucky. Why? Orientation decision. You like that? Well, I have to do everything in the landscape format because I'm on yesterday's page was my 85th piece for the one-page comic extravaganza, and I'm about to hit 100 pages in total. So yeah, this week is going to hit 100. So I just want to stick with the landscape format so I can put everything in one format for the book. And then I can switch back to doing portrait format pieces. Landscape, portrait, right? But yeah, you're definitely right noticing that. You got to make some of those decisions. And also it sort of differentiates it from just being a set copy of the actual page that they did. Yeah. So today's musical selections are, what did I say? They Might Be Giants and the Toadies. So please check those out. The Fartcasters will be in my Mad Magazine inspired one-page comic. Excellent. Excellent news, Sam. Excellent. Look at this old school methodology here. All right. Can't see my own marks. Not one for putting panels down beforehand, usually, but in this context, why not? Go on, have a ball. First age acceptance, filling out forms at work. Heard a secretary call out, "Oh my God, you were born in the 40s. Did you smack that secretary? Did you reach across the counter and..." Oh my goodness. No matter what age, no matter what year you're born in, people shouldn't be doing that to each other. Oh, Janet's going to love the rulers, huh? She measures everything. Well, if you just like calculating measurements, Janet, I am 5'18". You're welcome. She's going to hate me just for saying that. That's my go-to response. How tall are you? 5'18", and I walk away. All right, there you go. There's our 4-panel start. Janet says, "You're really that tall?" I actually am that tall, yeah. Janet says she measures everything. Don't worry, be happy. Things are nice that way. Am I really that tall? Yes, I am. 5'18". Do the math. Okay, so so here's our breakdown. I got some Posca pins. Posca pins. Oh, that's why. Good job. So says, I remember when Michelangelo bought the slab of stone that turned into David. We all laughed at him, but he got the last laugh. Oh, the memories. Yeah, I'm the one that had to carry it. And you thought your job sucked. All right. She did that math in her head. Look at that. I don't want to know what, frankly, Rachel are talking about. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay, so sloth versus sloth is our page. So I think it'll just move back so I can see what I'm doing without all the glare. You gotta have fun with people when they sort of, are so declarative and so, oh my goodness, I can't believe you're born dead. Wow. It's really unfair when people do stuff like that. They're asking for it. Janet is falling at, Rachel is falling at Janet's mathematical feet. Count the toes. All right, so there's our first sloth. I'm going to have our second sloth sneaking up on him. Will there be a checkered board floor? Was that a thing? Was that a thing in Spy vs. Spy? If that's a thing, I got to do the thing. Frankly, is going to make a mess. Be careful. Remember, you're playing with fire. Yeah, I guess I'll have to do that if that's actually a thing. So. I like the sloths have these wonderful long claws on their hands. Okay, I'll have to look up the checkerboard floor. Maybe it's a thing. I don't know. We'll see. I just might want to set it in the jungle because that's where I set slot things. So, or that's where I have set slot things. You know what I could do is continue. Well, no, I was going to say I could continue the 2-page sloth bit that I've already done. But no, I'll let that be its own thing. Long nose. They look like the doctors with the mask from the. Yeah, I know what they look like, but I'm drawing slots. What are you doing? Okay, so yeah, I think I'll draw. That's the fun thing. At a certain point, you're not drawing. I'm not drawing the Spy vs. Spy as it was laid out. This is the part that I'm talking about with references. I've talked about this a couple times. At a certain point, you got to let your references go and allow yourself to pursue the avenue that your own creative thought is taking you on. Just you don't, even if you're referencing towards something, it doesn't mean the entire thing has to be specifically referential. Like in the sloth piece that I showed on Friday, the last sloth joke that I got in there is the one sloth is falling from a tree asleep. There's 2 sloths lying on the ground out cold. And then the last sloth that's still up in a tree shouts, "Hey, you guys!" And people of a certain age will know what that reference is towards. See if anybody can remember what that is. Spy vs. Spy, very identifiable. You need cherry bombs with very, very long fuses. That's a fun idea. Like the Christopher draws in random standard size papers. Yeah, just go for whatever you're going for. It's you gotta have fun. You gotta take whatever your working space is and capitalize, right? If you've got a sketch pad, like if you've got your sketchbook here, Mike wins the prize. What do you want? Mike, you want a drawing? So if you've got this sketchbook, it doesn't, you can draw each of these images as an entire piece, an entire page, or you can try to capitalize in the space that you're presented with, right? And if so, it sort of affords you, more use out of that book by compartmentalizing as much information as you can on a page. It's funny, I'm drawing sloths while I'm listening to a song by the Toadies called Possum Kingdom. All right. So here's our crazy second sloth coming up behind him. Very slowly. How do you represent the slowness of the two guys? That's kind of a challenge. That Goonies, yep, yep, that's exactly it. I don't know if anybody that saw the original 2 pages that I did called "When Two Sloths Go to War," and can anybody tell me what that reference is for? But that last joke, so you put that book out, you put a project out, and you never know if anybody gets your reference. You never know if anybody understands the different little pop media references that you put in your work, right? That's the sort of thing that you just trust that somebody got it. Whoever it is that viewer out there that catches a hold of the Goonies reference, catches a hold of the Hollywood reference, right? That is the best oxymoron that I've heard today. Random standard. Never saw Goonies. That's understandable. It's an old film. Depends, right? It's one of those projects where it depends on if somebody around you is there to introduce you to Goonies. Because why would you go out of your way to watch a film from the 1980s if you weren't around there in the 1980s? Well, I could say that, but I watched lots and lots of crime noir films from the 1930s, and I wasn't there in the 1930s. This one is on craft paper. Yeah, I've got a really cool sketchbook of it's a craft paper cardstock. What's from the electric company, frankly? That's a song. You're getting close. You're getting close to it. Okay. Drawing to erase it. There it is. Don't normally do this, but I changed my mind halfway through drawing. I realized, hey, I'm going to do this in pencil crayon. So, guess who's doing it in pencil crayon now? You'll get it. Yep. I never guessed that it was not born yet, but learn a lot and watch those movies. There you go. He's getting close. He's getting close. No, not Top Gun. I can't stand Top Gun. Hi, you guys. Yep. Okay. What song do I reference in the title of the sloth page that my grandson and I read on Friday? The 2-page sloth story that my grandson and I read on Friday. What song am I referencing there? Just relax yourself and you'll get it. Or don't. Don't do it. Is it the relax yourself reference, Philip? Well, you already did math. It's Faith Hill. You caught me. It's Faith Hill. No, it's not Faith Hill. But it is the... Philip's got the song. Now, who's the band? Just relax yourself. You'll get it. No, don't. Don't do it. So, okay, somebody asked me about this recently. I might as well do it now. When I'm drawing hair, I think about if there's an object, right? And there's hair on said object. Say the part of the hair comes here. What I need to be conscious of is that all the hair moves down from this point. I think more than anything else in my head, this has always been the secret to drawing hair. Just thinking about how it applies to gravity, and you just follow it through the object. So whenever I'm drawing stuff, that's what I'm doing when I'm drawing hair. There we go. You got it. Yes, it is. No, it isn't. Frankly Goes to Hollywood. That's exactly who it is. That's exactly who it is. Frankly Goes to Hollywood. I had thought that Frank was going to get that. I really did. That's why I said just relax yourself and you'll get it, right? Or don't do it. And if that's stuck in your head now, you're welcome. So I also think about where shadow points would be on the subjects as well when I'm drawing the hair. Okay. There you go. What song from that era isn't stuck in my head? The Power of Love. You're welcome. I'm going to name sappy love songs, sappy songs from the 80s. Not the good ones. The sappiest ones I can think of. I don't know how well that turns out in the image. But just trying to put some emphasis points in. Posca pens. Thank you again to Dee Dee Willingham for letting me know about Posca pens. They really are the best acrylic paint marker that you can bring into your work. I'd have got it if I hadn't second guessed myself. Well, your name is Anonymous. That's terrible. I'm sorry, Mike. Uh-oh, he's out of control, everybody. We're going to have to do an intervention. There might be a Bob Marley biopic this year. Oh, okay. Look out, Janet. We're just going to just shout out sappy love songs now for Philip. Turn around. I remember roller skating at this place in London here called Wheels Roller Skate Park. Yeah, roller skating and dancing, slow skating around the rink to Bonnie Tyler as a I guess late teens, mid-teens, early teens. I can't think of it. Unchained Melody. I don't know if I know that song. I like some of those sappy songs. You should. Everybody likes those sappy songs. There's the people that say, I don't like those. I never listen to any of those. They're lying. Those are people that secretly croon to Celine Dion. I like that. Yeah, biopic. You still have a Footloose album? Oh my gosh. What is Unchained Melody? Could somebody sing that for me? Sappy love songs on my playlist. The Righteous Brothers. Oh my gosh. Your dad had to go see the Bob Marley Memorial in Jamaica. Oh. Total Eclipse of the Heart is about vampires. Okay, Rachel's singing it for us, everybody. Listen up. Listen carefully. Maybe she'll do a stream where she just sits and sings it. Maybe. All right. Just trying to get the structure of this in here. Get this the silver off the graphite out. We're watching a show right now. Set in so another one of these K dramas. It's about a lawyer, and he keeps singing tots songs, they call them in Korean, and they're basically cruder, sappy love songs. They call tot songs, and it's really funny. It's really funny to watch somebody just belt those out like that. Look up the Righteous Brothers. You got to know the Righteous Brothers. Come on. Time After Time by Cyndi Lauper. Can you do it? Can you do the time after time? Yeah, theirs is a better version, that's for sure. Righteous Brothers was Rent-A-Tile Dancing Time. Rent-A-Tile. Oh my gosh. Bucket Dance. When a Man Loves a Woman by Percy Sledge. One more try. Oh my gosh. Lady in Red, Krista Berg. There's so many of those. Silent Lucidity by Queensryche. That's a 1980s or 90s one. I was like Marvin Gaye songs. I've already changed my mind about composition already. Yes. Yes, indeed. I Can't Wait Forever by Air Supply. Hey, you want to know a special torture for your children? When you take them on a long road trip, duet Air Supply with a significant other. They'll love it. They'll just enjoy the whole drive. Make sure to sit them in the back so they can't reach the controls. Carmen Chameleon. Wouldn't really say that's a romantic love song. Oh my goodness. Okay, you two are maniacs. Is anybody else that got? If anybody has any romantic sappy love song, please feel free to type it in. How important are the number of YouTube followers for your motivation? I don't know that you have to have any. That's a question for everybody. That's great. That's fantastic. Personally, it's going to be different for everybody. I'm curious to find that out, actually, from people, because I've heard, and this is people that are far more monetized. I've heard people say, well, if it's not, if I haven't got 1,000 likes or whatever, it's not worth it. And I'm like, wow, okay, you do you. I don't know. Depends on what's important for us. Be sure to bring along the whole 80s, 90s CD collection. Yeah. What was the Motel song? Oh, there's a couple of really fantastically awkward songs to play from that time period in a vehicle with your kids. One is I Touch Myself by the Divinyls. You just look up the song. Look up the song. Jesus. That's crazy, Raul. That's a lot of people. Yep. Yes, it does. It's one of the creepiest romantic love songs ever. Only the Lonely. Thank you, Jim. Thank you. That's one of my favorites. That's absolutely one of my favorites. That's got to be my number one for sappy romantic songs. That or Heart, the one where Heart's about a woman having a one night stand and the guy finds out he's got a kid. Yeah, Bruce Springsteen's "Hey Little Girl, Is Your Daddy Home?" Awkward. All right, so One of them has to be predominantly light colored. The other one has to be predominantly dark colored. Oh, The Great Pretender. Oh, that's a good one. That's a great one. Ah, yes. Oh, there's a Canadian guy named Dan Hill. My mother used to like the song. Sometimes when we touch, it's like, oh, this song's awkward, Mom. Please stop playing this in the living room. Anonymous says, "Oh, the Divinos. Yeah. That's a way to torture your kids. That's what we do." Frankly says to Jim's question, if I get one like, I'm happy, but I rarely check unless I get comments. I think that's healthy. There's something healthy to that. Like, what's the motivation for your stream? Is your motivation in your stream for the engagement, or is the motivation in your stream for, connection, communication with people? I think that's the miracle question. And of course, I'm understanding, it to take time to build up that. I mean, when you see successful things like, well, she's in the room, let's talk about the Deuster. The amount of people that tune in there, I find, has an awful lot to do with a really strong sense of community and interconnectedness. And that's developed over a long period of time, and trust, right? A place to sass. I got nothing. Yeah. All right. Platters. There you go. Good stuff. But Ed Cookie Burns, really? Oh my gosh. Go listen to how good the production is as on I Only Have Eyes for You by the Flamingos. Oh yeah, that definitely still holds up. Definitely does. Queen did a wonderful version of The Great Pretender. They did indeed. You have to love doing YouTube, especially lives. Yeah, you gotta, whatever you're doing, do it. I know about Dan Hill. Does he now use his indigenous name? Wow. Okay. Little dig at the end. Like you, Janet. Dan Hill's one of those guys. I had the fortune to meet Gordon, a couple of people. I met Gordon Lightfoot, but that's like from a distance, and I didn't get to say hi to him. But I actually got to sit down and have a conversation with Burton Cummings, and that was pretty awesome. That's a guy I really enjoyed listening to for a lot of years, and I think it's exciting for older performers that have been doing it for some time. When somebody says, "Hey, I really like this album from 1977." To know that there's still connection there for people. Uh, 77 Sunset Strip. Yes, good one. That's where I got my kicks. There you go. Frick streaming wax seals. That can go viral. Oh, you had fun. That's what counts. By the way, hey man, how's your live stream going? Excellent. Hey, let's talk about Jim's. Jim did a live stream Jim did a stream this weekend to talk about his creative process on his new film, his new project. It's kind of exciting. Lots of cool people coming to check in. He had a special guest this weekend, Mr. Gary Hodges. And everything they said was insightful and deep and very, very meaningful. Gary didn't go off on any Star Wars tangents. Not to pick on Gary. I think I did. No, maybe that was Gary's stream. I can't remember. At some point this weekend, I flew off on my hatred of I don't even know the ding dong's name. Guy that did the ninth Star Wars film, which I have taped up on a shelf over there. A note on it that says, "Do not open ever." Which my kids think is crazy, by the way. The first sloth reminds you of Chewbacca. Oh, nice. That's fun. All right. So where are we at? I'm not keeping up, but I'm trying to. I'm sorry, folks. Is this a test? Uh-oh. Gordon Lightfoot's great. There you go. Yeah, Jim's updates are fantastic, and I also enjoy watching those. It's nice to see about the step-by-step process, and when I think that, when you're working like nutsy people like me, I think that there's an immediacy to what output is. But when you're working on a long form project, whether it's something like a large book or a 200-page project of some kind, or a film, an animated film, no less, it's hard. It's hard to stay tightly connected, and because you unless you're being somehow informed, you don't know how that project's going, and so that enthusiasm can wax and wane accordingly to a person's investment. So the fact that Jim is sharing his process and we get to see little snippets along the way, I think it makes it far more compelling, and I appreciate that he's doing it. Don't tell him I said that. Frank saw Ludwig Beethoven at concert. It's easier to go viral using viral songs. Okay. I still have my Captain and Tennille collection. Yeah, did you ever see Karen Carpenter play the drums? It's a fantastic drummer, and I don't think a lot of people know that. Well, I'm sure plenty of people know that, but a lot of young people have no idea. They just hear, "Why do birds?" That's it. I just read in the news that Gordon Lightfoot had to cancel his shows due to health issues. Yeah, he's been having health issues for a long time. He had something to do with his jaw. He's looked grave like for years now. Oh yeah, he had a real problem with his jaw and his face, and I think he's. Yeah, there you go. At all the tales he thought to tell. Yeah. Karen Carpenter, yes, a heck of a drummer. Okay, so I just got to get this in quick. So this is the first composition, is where we've already established that. So I've got a white band around this guy's eyes, and I'm considering how I can put a black band around the other sloth's eyes as a potential opportunity to divide the two. The challenge being, of course, is that, it takes away the emphasis of the concavity of the skull, or the orbital cavity. If not for the Edmund Fitzgerald, eh? Karen had such a liquid voice. Yeah, she really did. What a wonderful voice. It's there's just certain characters in history, like certain performers, that they're very much themselves, and I think that she was very uniquely her own voice, that sort of clean sound that she had. I think I'm always going to appreciate that. Like Nick Drake. I don't know how many people here are familiar with Nick Drake, but I'm I really, really enjoy Nick Drake. And, I thought that the things that the way his voice works in his music is just so absolutely lovely. Sad that, he didn't last long, but uncompromising, and an uncompromising attitude fortunately shortened his career and his life. All right. What do we got? Oh, that's nice, yeah. Jesus, I don't know what frickin' roll I'm talking about. You guys are crazy. So because of the size, the scaling here, the pencil crayon only lets you get such certain kinds of line, but they can't be crisp and sharp enough. Nature of the paper. But putting a little bit more emphasis with the black marker pen thing, Posca, maybe that's what's going to help in differentiating the white from black. I had a lot of fun with the pages that I posted this weekend. I'm just fully engaged and embraced in the silly notions and pursuing those. So, hey, Jane, how are you? This needs to be an art card. Okay. If I go to the highlight of my life, it'd be Woodstock and Janis. The first three records I bought was Gord's Gold, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, and Janis Joplin Pearl. Those are the first three records that I bought myself. I went and bought the actual vinyl 33s. Which is a little weird for my age, but brilliant stuff. My mother loved them. No, she was a Marie Bottrell kind of a gal. Ideally, I should have had the club being dragged by him, but little late now, Runciman. Welcome aboard, Jane. I'm missing a lot of stuff. Second one's a warrior sloth. Dum. Oh, that's super cool. Yeah, this is sloth versus sloth, Jane. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to put a little emphasis on the claws. And then we've got a little bit more structure to go into around the face. Yeah, I'd really find that no matter how good the pencil crayon is, craft paper still diffuses its color. Tape it for me. There you go. Couple of emphasis lines. I find that if you don't put the line in solidly, it allows the viewer's mind to fill in, and it also doesn't make it too contrasting. Because that's what our brains do, our human brains, is that we fill in. We know that this is a line. We know these marks make for a contour without having to do the whole thing in there. All right. Reminds me of Planet of the Apes. Oh yeah, Planet of the Apes. They're just amazing. Those were such brilliant projects. You're right. To come up with those. So for a convention that we have here in London, I went to it dressed as an ape. A friend of mine is a special effects guy, and he did the prosthesis on me. And so because of my size, I had to squat, like sort of lope a little bit, bend up at the knees and the hip, and then my elbow, so that I looked smaller than my actual height. And as I was moving through the crowd in that sort of very, very hip to hip walk that simians have, and then whenever somebody would say something, look at a monkey or whatever, and I'd rise up to my height and say, "You dirty human," and because I was a very black-skinned ape. The things we do for fun. Second movies. Planet of the Apes movies. Yeah, those are good fun. Okay, so here's our second one. And I think that we're at 118. What I want to do is that I'm not going to put them in your traditional checkered environment. I'm going to put them in the forest. And so I tend to think of, because we're starting with an intermediate value. Sorry, let me move this, and then I can do my tilt. There we go. So because we're starting with an intermediate value already, when I'm putting in my marks for trees, it becomes a case of positives and negatives. Well, that's not really what he says. He doesn't say stinking human. He says, "You damn dirty human," right? But it's that's not as nice. All right, so I'm thinking about silhouettes, and I'm thinking about in the background here, just rough tree shapes, and then how the foliage gathers together, and it follows that you get these wonderful little pockets of tonality that comes into any sort of forest environment or any sort of scene like that. And then, of course, the second part to that is if you allow yourself to work up those values, so you can have your really dark areas, but you need to make sure you have that balance of those light spaces. And then in front of those is where you can cut some of these other shapes for other trees. And before you know it, you've started to define and populate that environment. And then the second part to this, and I'll draw one piece of it so that I get through it enough. Where are we at? I'm trying to keep up, folks. I'm sorry. Janet, this is what made me laugh. She's going to go to Walmart and call everybody a stinking human. See you later, Philip. Good to see you, buddy. Well, good luck, my friend. Good luck. You're going to be fine. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Words of wisdom. Soothing voice, maybe. Words of wisdom. Boy, oh boy. You can't drive around with a tiger in your car. You can't drive around with a tiger in your car. There's some words of wisdom. But you could be happy if you were mine too. That's my song that I torture my children, my grandchildren with, by the way, Roger Miller. Is anybody doing that in their head now that knows that song? All you got to do is put your mind to it, knuckle down, buckle down, do it, do it, do it. Yeah. Oh, okay. You're getting it. They're getting it now. I'm not going to put that up right now. Cheeky. I've had a new word introduced into my vocabulary thanks to Dee Dee and friends here, and that's snark. Snark. So I'm just throwing in some little textures and some little shapes. It doesn't have to be so initially and clearly defined as you put it down. You can build up the environment and then come back through it and then go over top of it and grade it out into it. There's just all these little parts that you can put it together as, unless you're looking at a source. If you're looking at a source, you're like, well, I want it to look like that. Then look at it like that and try to break it down into a value system from the get-go and move your way across. But if you're just sort of coming up on in the moment on what could be a forest area or some kind of green area, just allow yourself that play that moves throughout. So snark. King of the road. Good for you. Excellent. Snark. There you go. Yeah. I also like, I hear tell you're doing well. Good things that come to you. I wish I had your happiness and you had a do wackadoo, 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 wackadoo. Good heavens. Sloth pets? What? My goodness, Raul. Ah. Well, I've listened to this album twice. Now I want to listen to Roger Miller. Yeah, there's fun songs that get recorded over history. Like I really enjoyed the album Cookie Country when it came out sometime in the 70s, and did introduce you to a lot of that. And I'd already known who Roger Miller was by watching Robin Hood, the Disney animated Robin Hood. And it's just so obvious. It's just so blatant when he, how you doing, everybody? I'm Alan O'Dale. It's like, come on. Oh my goodness. Thank you for blank. There we go. Blank filling. Filing. Okay, so as I go through and I'm building it up and picking it up, so this is what I'm talking about when you start laying in some of these little pieces of detail. So when you come in again on another pass, you can pick some of those out. And so some of these little bits and bobs, like the little pieces of grass and stuff like that, can pop forward. It just, the composition sort of starts to find itself. And those little enhancements come together. And then because the brown of the craft paper is this intermediate value, if you start leaving spaces for that and you go through the composition and you drop in some of those light spots and dark spots, then it gives the sense of light moving through the environment. Guess I never will. There you go. There's so many different ways to, well, poor cats, but there's so many different ways to come through in a composition and put it together, especially when you're trying to draw foliage, or especially when you're trying to draw a really complex environment. That's where things like Posca pens and markers that you can overlay textures with, or things like Letraset, or when you go into Photoshop and you can do these fun little texture additions into pieces. That's where that's so fun. That's where that really comes together, is because the more of that texture that gets applied to it, the more and more depth it has. Yes! My work here is done. That's all right. I got one too. I've had the motels stuck in my head for some time now. Oh, I remember the Heart song, the really scandalous Heart song that I didn't realize when I first heard it how scandalous it was. It was that All I Want to Do Is Make Love to You. That song's about an affair. I didn't know that. Second stream today that had an earworm mentioned. There we go. So this is this thing I do where I'll tap some pigment down, and then I'll tamp it so it just diffuses some of that, roots it down a little bit. And because it dries so fast, these Poscas, that lets you do that, not have continuous marks every time you tap it on the page. I needed you to draw my tree bark. 3 prompts. Tiger cookie tree bark. There you go. Tree bark. Easy way to look at it. Okay. Tree bark is it, because we talked about this in a stream before, when you look at it as these structures. Now here's what I do. I don't know about other people. This is what I do. So there's a couple different things you can do. You can add textures, thickening and thinning of the bark values. They don't have to be straight lines. Don't do that to yourself. Put the ruler down. And but the other thing that you can do is allow a little bit of texturing throughout the tree in and of itself. And so what that does is, and it's a very specific type of tree, of course, that we're drawing, but because not all trees have this bark. Birch trees have this wonderful cracking pattern that moves through their bark. It's sort of like layers of paper. And you can see how that moves across there. Anyways, so when you look at this, no ruler, Janet. Yeah. Oh, yes. Excellent, Jane. Yeah, it is so true. I had no idea when I used to listen to that. And you just sort of hum along with the chorus at some point. And then when you sit down one day and you listen to the lyrics, you go, what the how did I not pay attention to this before? Yeah, there's all kinds of songs like that. Yeah, so this is how I'll go about doing the tree. And then the last part, so is that coming through clearly? I think so. So the other thing that I would do is that then I would go in and I would put emphasis on some dark deepened values. And so this would be the little grooves and offsets in the bark. I hope that helps. Okay, there we go. And Jim, nicely done. That's what's the other song? I think it's Blind Faith. Go on the country, don't you wanna go? That's another war song. It's another one being called up to duty. And of course, Arlo Guthrie, etc. So the only other thing you can look at is where the light source is, and if we say it's on this side, then it's going to be more and more so as we go around the tree, that you're going to see more and more of the shadow come through on the tree. So I hope that helps you with looking at how to draw bark. Okay. Put a couple more marks in the space here. Yeah, I appreciate when everybody comes out and joins on the streams here. And to respond to Jim's query earlier, I wanted to give some time before I start yakking at it. I don't. I think that your stream should just be you streaming. It should be you free talk, the free congress of thoughts and ideas between yourself and whoever engages with you in that. I love that people feel really comfortable to share here in the stream and to converse and to add input to some of the conversation and I really do, and I think that's a lot of fun. I don't count numbers. I don't think the numbers count. I didn't know until recently that there was a number up on the screen on StreamYard for how many people are actually here. I've actually looked at the red time button beside it and not noticed the how many people are watching button beside that for the longest time. And even still, I don't feel like that matters, because if you're engaged with people and you're enjoying that in that conversation, if you're enjoying that conversation, you're enjoying those interactions, and it's reciprocal in the sense that you really enjoy the input coming back. That's all, that's great. But even if it's not there, just do what you're doing, because eventually someone's going to be there. That's my thought. I don't know. There's a lot of cool people out there, and sometimes it's just a matter of once you find them, right? Or once they find you. Oh boy. And then I'm going to throw a couple little white dots. And I usually put the little hits of white in places where I want a little more texture, or I want to put a little more dispensation of value in a spot so it gives a sense of depth. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, yours was brown and gray. Yeah. Oh, nice. We'll prompt in 5 minutes. I like expediency. Expedience is king. If you're up for it, right? Dave Clark 5 for the Neat Beatles. Still remember itself from calling that. The Neat Beatles. Oh no! And then Ed had to introduce the Rolling Stones. The Rolling Stones. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a wonderful show. It's the only man that presented a nighttime entertainment show. I always like Alfred Hitchcock's cold opens to his programs. I always thought those were fantastically fun. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and he do his little puns and playing about a bit. I always like the plate spinners. I like Topo Chiju. Oh, there we go. Rachel says the same thing. Welcome to Topo Chiju. That head bob as he turned sideways. Carol Burnett show, that was a big one for me. I make a lot of Carol Burnett references in a really subversive kind of way. Subconsciously whistle it sometimes, the theme song for that. Vicki Lawrence was 19 when she started doing that. Plate spinning is a lost art. Oh, the dentist sketch. Yes, 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 yes. And anytime Tim Conway. What was Carol Burnett's secretary character? Mr. or Mrs. Fairclough, could you come in here, please? And she'd be sitting there going, doing her nails. And then when she walked to the other room, I'd go, yeah. Always popping her gum in her cheeks, and so funny. Here's the theme song that everybody knows that of a certain age. Lori and I watched the Mary Tyler Moore show the other night, and you don't even fast forward. You don't even fast forward that theme song. If you can hear it, you're gonna listen to the whole Mary Tyler Moore opening theme song, and if you know it, you're gonna sing along. You know that's for a fact. Nobody can deny that. There's a great cast on that one too. Cloris Leachman, whenever she would appear, would steal scenes. Oh, that's very nice. Yeah. Thanks very much, Rachel. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You pretend to toss a hat or you look up. Wait for it to come down. It never does. Rhoda's great. She's a complicated actress, but character is fantastic. Hey, Mare. The one we watched was in Rhoda's apartment. She had a fire that burned everything. But before the end of the episode, which is 2 days long, right? It's only 2 days of her staying at Mary's apartment, and the whole apartment's completely rebuilt. Oh, no, it's not. No, she goes to stay with Cloris Leachman at the end of it until to make sure it's done on Monday, which is still like 4 days. Oh, that's absurd. TV time. I never used to question that. There's in the book that I've got coming out for this year, A Village Haunted. There's a mom character in it that's based on the mother in the TV show Family from the 1970s. Just for whatever reason, I just used her as a character reference. So the girls come home and they tell the mom, "There's a ghost at the high school," and she's like, "You girls, listen." You have to learn better English. Hey, thanks for hanging out, Janet. That's really nice of you to come and join us today. Gotta eat remote control. Gotta get a new remote. You go into Walmart? Oh my goodness. Look out, everybody. Get out of the way, stupid humans. Oh my goodness. Everybody at Walmart, run. See you in the morning. Hey, yeah, DD streaming in the morning. Everybody go check it out. Yeah. Hi, Mayor. I loved Ted Baxter on the Mary Tyler Moore. I loved him so much. I even watched the show when he was the animator, the syndicated strip animator. Can't remember what that was called now. Hey, Mayor. I'd always do that deep voice. Not at Walmart. There will be stinking humans everywhere I go. I heard this was the best place to buy things. That's what you do when you walk into Best Buy. Ted. Oh, that wasn't it? You'd think it'd be easy to remember, Jane. Ted. And his wife was so good on Mary Tyler Moore. Hi, Mary. Ted was the anchorman. Yes, he was. Ted was the anchorman. It's one of those really great anchorman characters throughout comedy. Another one I always liked was Earl Kenenbear on SCTV. I'm Floyd Robertson, and I'm Earl Kenenbear, and this is the SCTV News. And you always get the stupidest stories to tell, Earl Kenenbear. I'm not sure how familiar people outside of Canada really are with SCTV, but it was major here. It was a big, big deal. So I've already established that this is the edge of my panel here. So I want to keep whatever it is that I'm drawing within that. And the thing about a lot of this detail, this foofura that's in the background, is that it's going to be covered up. It's going to be covered up by dialogue boxes. Betty White was great. Oh, because she was perfect. I wish anybody can remember what Ted's wife was on Mary Tyler Moore. SCTV became the original SNL cast. Well, they were all Second City alumni, but the SCTV show, different comedians. In fact, the SCTV, the group that was started to be the SCTV cast, it was initially Venkman. The heck was Venkman's name? Good heavens. It was Bill Murray's brother. And Joe Flaherty had come up because he'd come up from the States. And or was he from? I think Joe Flaherty, I think, is from the prairies. It was Dave Murray and the guy that went, Harold Ramis. And eventually they got that new young blood in there of Martin Short and Rick Moranis. So this, again, is just little putting some marks in and set myself up for where things are going next. And Rob Murray, was it Rob? He's been in a number of projects as well as his brother. I think he was in Caddyshack. He was I'm not sure if he was in Caddyshack or Caddyshack 2, but he's got a really cantankerous voice, and it's just hilariously funny. Yeah, Eugene Levy, John Candy, Andrea Martin, and Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara have had this fantastic partnership, this fantastic career where they work on so many things together. They're in all of Christopher Guest's movies, and just brilliantly funny. They did a film called Best in Show, and Eugene Levy has 2 left feet in it. He literally has 2 left feet, though. Like, it's camera pans down. He's wearing 2 left shoes. Just ridiculous fun. So I'm going to cut a tree across the front here just to push, the complexity of the environment. So I'm going to cut across his toe with that one. Just because you can. And then, of course, you put some leaves and business throughout the entirety of the environment. And if you're going to have the forest floor, cover that with debris, detritus from the trees, leaves, and so on and so forth. Sticks. Brian Doyle, thank you. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Yeah, they don't really look alike, do they? There's some similarity to them, but definitely not too tight. Yeah, Catherine O'Hara. Jade says, we're a funny country. We got to do something over the long winters. I was referring to one of our kids about this. This is terrible. You can, and maybe this will make our kids all second guess their spacing of children in the future if they have any. But you can tell the coldest months in Canada by when people's kids are all born. Hey, now that your kids are born in the month of April, what's that mean? That means that it would guess I count back 9 months, and that's the summer, or that's the fall or winter month where they spend a lot of time in the house. That's what that means. Once you expose your kids to thoughts like that, it can change the whole way they address adulthood. Where are we at? 1:44. Go for a couple more minutes. Yeah. We have the silliest things here. I don't know if you had this in the States, but over the years, there's certain ridiculous commercials that I know that was specifically played in Canada, like the Oscar Mayer Wiener song. just ridiculous. I know. And when the farmers are out in the fields, that's true. It's a cold winter on the farm. And all the kids are born in spring and summer. Cold winter. A lot of warm temperature babies. So it's funny. Here's another thing to think about. When you're drawing the errata that's in a forest area, oftentimes it will have an awful lot to do with the place that you live. You will draw, if you're in a drier climate, you're going to draw more, dry climate bushes and bramble and things like that. When you're in a more moist climate, you're going to draw the trees and the forest, like the very tall, slender trees or dense foliage up above as opposed to down below. And a lot of the greenery, a lot of the material down at the bottom of a woodland area is going to be, dense and wet and thick. So, oh, there's Rachel. Georgette Baxter. Yes, brilliant. Absolute brilliant actress. She was on so many things. Yeah, I really like Georgette and Ted. And then every time what's her name showed up, the baking show, Betty White. Every time Betty White showed up, she'd go, "Well, hi, Ted," and you just watch him go, "Hi." And Georgette would go, "What in the world was that, Teddy?" This is what people want. Ask that 5'18" guy to do impressions of Georgette Baxter. All right. So, well, there's the gist of it. That's the sort of approach I'm going for. So, in a 4-panel page, because if it's we're in the Western world, it's going to read 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's a pretty straightforward thing, which I tend not to do, especially into the page I posted today. Half of today's page is no panels at all, and the other half of today's page is a sort of tight net little piece of panel on one side. But when you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, it really sort of clearly and easily establishes for you the way that the story is going to progress. I mean, the way that you can change this and break it up, which I'm not going to do because of the form and the reference towards sloth versus sloth or spy versus spy, is that you could take one of the sloths, say, and have him, have a branch hanging down here, and the second sloth, of course, going to swat the first one with a stick. There are things like that you can do. But I know, it all sort of happens in the moment. Again, if I can go over a couple things, take a look at, hey man, how's your movie going? The step-by-step stream that Jim is doing on every couple weekends he does one. And he talks about the creative process behind his next film, The Full Fungus. And it's quite interesting. It's quite informative about his process of working and his evaluation process that he has for how he goes about making things and how he goes about determining what it is that he's going to have in his project. And sometimes there's some adjustments that he makes along the way, and he talks those through. That's a really fantastic one. Of course, Dee Dee is going to be streaming tomorrow morning. And if you're able to check out her stream, and I think probably maybe you can put it in her comments for her stream as well about picking 3 prompts for you. But try to check out the stream if you can. I'm not sure if I'm putting on extra work to you, Dee Dee, there, but because the 3 prompt idea is an awful lot of fun, and it really challenges you to step outside of your conventional choices that you might make by having to draw things like devil riding a seagull. Tomorrow, Dee Dee might wax legs or do a clutch. Well, I could tell you which one I like. I don't know. Boy, oh boy. I like your collages. It's terrible. Throw down that man card, Dee. I have to send you another one, not just a monkey smelling his own armpit. I have to send you some more man cards for that. Big one, a big giant man card. A sloth card. Sloth cards, that's what it should be called now. I keep getting solicitation questions, and I don't know if they're real, and I'm not going to open them anyways. Usually if you have 8 posts and 20,000 followers, I don't think you're a real person. I should ask Frank. Frankly, Mapleton gets all of those. He gets every one of those solicitation things. So there's the wood area just coming together. Just a bunch of shapes, little marks, figuring out little angles on how to put stuff together. And as you do that, your approach to it is sort of a set and state direction. Then eventually it just starts building itself up. So even this tree trunk lying on the ground has this little job to do in sort of populating the image, right? But this is a fun one. This is taking the sloth suggestions and the spy versus spy thing, adding those together. I like that. It's a lot of fun. Thank you for that, everybody. It was Dee that came up with that, I think. Yeah. So you just sort of make your marks as you go through. Try not to be overzealous in the highest contrast ones like that. If you're going to use stuff like this to put little marks along the way, little enhancements to the contrast. Don't be overzealous. That's overzealous, maybe. Everyone can ask for 3 prompts. Excellent. That's excellent. That's excellent. It's very supportive. Yeah, so please, people, feel free to dial in the DD stream tomorrow and ask her for some prompts. And do so politely. Prompt me up, DD. Don't do that. I understand that there are prompts being handed out here. I'll take a few. How many you got? See, I was going to actually color in this band across the top, and I just realized, hey, I don't need to do that. A little black band across the top with the Photoshopping. You don't have to waste your materials. All right. Well, I'll finish this sucker off and continue on with the page and have this posted for tomorrow. And have to deal with the litigation that's being filed against me by Jim for not streaming yesterday. But I promise you I'll be back tomorrow. Jim and everybody else. Thank you for hanging out, everyone. If you get an opportunity, please try out the 3 prompt thing. Please try to check out all the different streams by people that are in the conversation here. I know I talked about the 2 today, but there's so much fantastic stuff coming out from everybody here, like Jane and Rachel and Janet. And really, if you're able to engage in everybody's different streams and feeds and the different social things, it really helps everybody out. And thumbs up. There we go. I can't stop commenting on thumbing up on everybody else's streams right now. For some reason, it kind of, when you have 100 people and there's like 48 thumbs, and I'm like, what the heck are the other people doing? But yeah, thanks very much for everybody and coming out and taking part. This has been an awful lot of fun and a really exciting and fun conversation that we've been having about a great deal of things. Think of your sappiest love song. Think of it. Think about what that is. Not a love song that you really enjoy. Think of the sappiest love song that you know. And listen to that today. And then put on some Roger Miller to get it out of your head. Don't be such a sloth. Oh man. Okay. Hey, thanks everybody. Thanks for coming out. This was a lot of fun for me too. Otherwise, have a great day. Get doing some creating and stuff. Feel free to share it. I'd love to see it. You can either send it to me DM or email me it or whatever else. If you want me to share it, I'll do that. I love doing that. Anytime I get an opportunity to show what other people are doing, I'm going to do it. Yeah, I'm really interested to see what other people are working on. So if we're not following each other, link me up and let me follow you, because I'm lousy for how do you just spell that? For finding people's names, especially if you've got a fancy one. But in the meantime, go do some fun things, and I look forward to seeing you later. Bye for now. I'll be back at you tomorrow.